The latest developments now on the trial of a man accused in the beating death of a West Greenwich man last year.
Christian Lepore is accused of beating John O'Neill to death in the backyard of his home. Today, law enforcement officials took the stand to describe what they found when they arrived on scene and how difficult it was to subdue Lepore.
Eyewitness News reporter Julianne Pixoto has been at court all day long. She joins us now live from Warwick with the latest. Julianne.
Mike and Caroline, this is an insanity case, meaning it's not a question of whether Lepore committed the crime, but rather did he have the mental capacity to form criminal intent, and did he have control over his actions? 35-year-old Christian Lepore sat quietly, showing little expression in court as law enforcement and emergency personnel described his actions on May 28, 2016.
I've never seen that before in my life.
Lepore is accused of brutally murdering 62-year-old John O'Neill. The West Greenwich man was working near his woodshed on John Potter Road when Lepore allegedly emerged from the woods naked and brutally beat him to death with objects in the yard, including a rock and a barrel.
The rantings and ravings, the swearing, the anti-Semitic gibberish, he wasn't making any sense.
It took 4 officers to eventually tackle Lepore to the ground. Troopers say stun guns, pepper spray, and a canine had little effect on him. Troopers say he ripped the stun gun prongs out of his body and put the canine in a chokehold.
He never grimaced, he never flinched, which you would expect from somebody that was having their flesh ripped open by a canine.
Paramedics say Lepore would shout gibberish, then laugh menacingly, and seemed to not feel the pain of his several injuries.
Broken sentences about Hitler and a woman named Rachel.
Lepore's defense team argues he's mentally ill and therefore was not able to intentionally kill O'Neill.
It led me to believe 2 things. Either A, he was under some type of hallucinogen or narcotic that got him to that level, or B, that he was mentally unstable at the time.
One paramedic testified Lepore's eyes were extremely dilated, which is typically indicative of drug use.
But it's entirely possible there could be another reason for the eyes being dilated, am I correct?
That is correct.
It's entirely possible that one of those reasons could be for an individual suffering from a severe mental illness, am I correct?
That could be correct, depending on the mental illness.
And police searched Lepore's house and his car, which was parked a couple miles away from the crime scene. Coming up at 6, find out what they found inside his car. Live in Warwick with the West Bay Mobile Newsroom, Julianne Pixoto, Eyewitness News.
From the West Bay Mobile Newsroom, Eyewitness News at Kent County Court in Warwick. The prosecution plans to call its final witness tomorrow in the trial of Christian Lepore. He's accused of beating a West Greenwich man to death last year. State troopers returned to the stand today and revealed what they found in Lepore's car. Eyewitness News reporter Julianne Pixoto joins us now live from the West Bay Mobile Newsroom with the new details, new at 6. Julianne.
7 witnesses were called today. They were all either members of law enforcement or emergency personnel, and they all said they had never seen a person act the way Christian Lepore did on May 28, 2016. It took 4 officers, a canine, a stun gun, and several canisters of pepper spray to subdue this man, 35-year-old Christian Lepore. He's accused of brutally beating 62-year-old John O'Neill to death in a seemingly random and unprovoked attack.
Did you ever experience anything like this?
Never in my life, no.
Police and paramedics say Lepore was combative and wouldn't listen to their verbal commands.
He was screaming, trying to fight. We had a police officer with us who helped keep his arms down while we tried to treat him a little bit more. The entire time he was just yelling, spitting in our faces.
First responders say Lepore was threatening to kill them, spitting blood in their faces and screaming about Hitler. Once he was finally subdued with the help of jumper cables, paramedics gave Lepore a muscle relaxer in the ambulance.
Did it have any effect? No, not really. No.
Police searched Lepore's Richmond home and his car, which was parked a couple miles away from the scene. Inside the navy blue sedan, they found 3 full bottles of Yuengling beer, an envelope with writing all over it, and Lepore's cell phone. And again, the state plans to call its final witness tomorrow. Prosecutors say that this person is going to discuss toxicology results and whether any substances were found in Lepore's blood. Prosecutors tell us Lepore will either be found guilty or not guilty by reason of insanity. Live in Warwick with the West Bay Mobile Newsroom, Julianne Pixoto, Eyewitness News.